Good evening. Welcome to the Expire Show, sponsored or organized by Science Center Singapore, the Singapore Institute of Technology and Neo Aeronautics. We bring you STEM educations, innovations, and entrepreneurship. For the August series or the July series, we actually focus on a group of women or female innovators and entrepreneurs. And this week, we are looking at not just one, but two female innovators that deal with something everybody is talking about or like food. And what do they do? Actually, they are trying to make the world a better place by making sure that people who suffer from diabetes can have good food, nice food, tasty food. So how do they do it? Let's talk to them. And they are Dr. Gao Jin and Dr. Xiaoxuan. Okay, let's go and talk to them. Hi, good evening.
Hi, Prof. Neil.
Yeah, hi. And that is Dr. Gao Jin and Dr. Xiaoxuan. So I'm going to mention them by the name, okay? Gao Jin and Xiaoxuan, okay? So welcome to the Aspire Show. We have a live audience. And so the format of this show is for you to introduce yourself. We have a chit chat, and then the audience asks questions, okay? So be relaxed, just enjoy the session. So maybe what would like to invite you to do is to introduce yourself, introduce what you do before we start off have a conversation.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So thanks, Prof. Neil, for having us here today. We are Aurora Foods, and what we are doing is to make sweet healthier for everyone to enjoy. So because we see there is an epidemic of diabetes globally, that 1 in 11 people has diabetes. And because of diabetes and pre-diabetes conditions, 15% of the world population cannot consume normal sugary products. For them, sugar spike is the killer. So whenever they eat a piece of cake that contains the sugar, they're gonna experience this high concentration of sugar in their blood. And this high concentration will cause acute damage to their organs. So for people with this concern, if they still want to indulge, they have to find a way to flatten this sugar spike. So the industry has to do a lot of work on this. What they do is try to reduce the sugar, and it doesn't work well in the cake because sugar will provide the body, the texture, the color, everything nice about the cake. And the other way is just like doing a zero Coke. We replace the sugar with the sweetener, but this will cause unpleasant aftertaste, compromise the taste and texture, and even bring unpleasant side effect to some of the consumers. So we see that with these existing solutions, the sweet indulgence will no more be enjoyable for everybody. So what we have to do is that over the past 9 years, we have developed a patented GI lowering technologies using 100% natural plant extract from cereals and berries. It contains active ingredients which will slow down the release of the sugar in our body. So for our technology, we don't need to replace the sugar or reduce the sugar. Our active ingredients work on the sugar that make it slowly released into our body. So this is a simple illustration about how our technology works. So the table sugar and the flour in our cake will be broken down by the digestive enzymes into the glucose molecules, which give us the sugar spike. And our active ingredients will compete with the enzymes so that the starch and the sugar will be released in a slower manner, and the sugar spike will be blunted. And we already validate our technology through clinical study, which will give people a normal cake and our specially formulated cake. I will say that people have a significant reduction in their sugar spike, and glycemic index was reduced by 20%. So what we are offering is not a single product. We are offering a food tech platform, which we have the expertise in select and screen the most optimal composition of the active ingredients for each food product, and to develop and formulate the formulation and processing conditions to make sure it will remain active after processing. At the same time, we are able to evaluate and substantiate the efficacy of our technologies in different foods. So we're gonna launch our first product, which is our Joy Baking Mix, and we believe that with our platform, actually we can create endless of healthier food for everyone to enjoy.
So we also see a big market opportunity for health indulgence. The world cake and pastry market is about 300 billion, and 15% of it is waiting to be addressed by healthier or lower GI solutions. And for Aurora Foods, we are targeting a $500 million market, particularly in Southeast Asia, China, Japan, and Australia. So at early stage, we are focusing on a business to business model, and our technology has wide applications in bakery, confectionery, and also beverage. So our first launching product will be a collection of diabetic or low GI baking premix, and we have obtained a few letters of intent and also in discussion with local bakeries and hotel cafe, because our technology fits into their current effort to reformulate the signature high tea desserts into a healthier version. And in the future, we'll also have our ice cream and beverage mix that is healthier options for the consumers. So we are a spin-off company from the US, where we developed our first prototype using our patented technology. And then we also went through 2 incubator programs, and we're now in the process of upscaling and pilot production to manufacture our first batch of samples for market validation. And our first product, which is the waffle mix, will be officially launched by end of this year. And after that, we will just quickly expand our product categories and also expand to overseas market. But most importantly, we will continuously to innovate and look new technology, also new active ingredients into our food tech platform. So this is our team. Dr. Gao and Jin, she is the CEO and co-founder of our company, and she has a PhD in food science from the US, and with 8 years of research experience in functional bakery products. I'm Xiaoxuan, and also the co-founder of the company, and I just graduated this year and got my PhD in food science, and I'm experienced in functional food development. So together, we also have our scientific advisor, Prof. Prof. is the head of US Food Science Department, and he is an expert in baking science. And in terms of business, we have guidance from Grape and Mr. David Shaw, and we do have intern students to work with us on the projects. So just to highlight a few key points of why Aurora Food is unique, because we have established a patented food tech platform to transform sweet indulgence into healthy and diabetic-friendly choices. So our baking mix is able to achieve a slower sugar release and reduce GI, but we do not use any sugar replacers. And our technology is applicable to a wide range of dishes, including bakery and also confectionery beverage products. So we have a scalable business model, and we have already received quite promising business tractions. And also we have quite strong and balanced team. So that's our contact information. Yeah.
Okay, great. So I think everybody at 8 p.m. will look at food, glorious food, right? And especially cake. You all like cakes?
Yes.
Okay, great. So you're all very hungry. Next time we'll bring cake along. Now let's have a chit chat, right? Of the transformation of you from a student and to coming out with the innovations and being entrepreneurs, right? So we'll step through one by one, right? So the important thing right now is why food science? I mean, you all like food a lot. That's why you take up food science. What's your interest? How do you come about choosing food science?
I think for me, my major was in life science. Then I realized to be a good life scientist, you need to have really a good memory, memorizing a lot of pathways, plants, animals, all the things. Then I decided maybe this is not really the choice for me. So when I joined in US, I did have a tour in the food science department. And when I went there, I saw people doing real food as part of their research. So this is really like,
it's like, wow.
Yeah. I never imagined. I also thought that it's like in the lab, you have gloves, you use pipette, that's the research. With food, you are dealing with everything that you're familiar with, and there's a science behind it.
Yes.
So that's why I chose food science as my major, to explore.
Okay. And Xiaoxuan?
Actually, I like food science because it's a multidisciplinary major where you got to learn not only chemistry, but also biology and nutrition and also statistics. So when I choose my major, I feel I'm not confident to spend my whole 4 years just learning maybe physics or chemistry. But if I'm able to get to learn like all these kind of different contents in my undergraduate, so that sounds quite like more exciting to me. So that's why I choose food science.
Okay, great. So both y'all chose food science, which to people in the audience is probably something very new, especially in Singapore, right? Although we do have food technology, but it's not something that people, when they choose a study, it doesn't immediately come to mind. It's like medicine, physics or whatever. All right, so let's move on to your research, okay? And so how does this research comes about? I mean, what drives you, or how do you actually find a problem to solve? Okay, anyone?
Actually, for me, my PhD research is not really about this active ingredient, also this low GI technology, but it's quite related because I was doing more research on the effect of wheat bran addition on the like the chewing properties and also the digestibility of noodles. So I'm quite experienced with like how to evaluate the functional foods and also how to conduct clinical trials to evaluate the glycemic response of people to different types of food. So that is quite helpful when I actually take this project to commercialize this technology into baking premix.
Can you explain what is functional food? We call it like char kway teow. Is it a simple food or functional food? What is the terminology?
Actually, it's a quite wide like definition. It's just food with functions.
What functions?
Like
Fill your tummy.
like health related functions. Yes.
Okay, health related. So functional means make your, you survive, right? You have nutrients and all this, so you consider that functional food. Okay, that's great. Well, how about your research?
I think my research in functional food starting from my final year project during undergrad study, which I study how people add green tea catechins into the bread and make it more healthier for people to consume. Then for my PhD, I continued a bit of pivot from that. Actually, I'm doing is to design an in vitro digestion system to evaluate how food has been digested in our body and all these active ingredients can be released and have effect. So like a prediction model, like how it's gonna happen if we move on to real human bodies. So it will have a less cost and more efficient in screening process.
All right, so you are looking at study or research on food and say how these the various contents are released in the body, right?
Yes.
So how do you eventually narrow down to say my research must result in something that can be useful for society or for people, and in this case, diabetic patients. So when do you come to that area?
I think that's something that all the food scientists are pursuing to allow everyone to enjoy the food they love without guilt or concern. So, and especially the diabetic problem is quite like it's a global and especially like quite severe in Singapore. So that's not just a PhD study, but it's a lot of effort that have been put in this area. So it's just through a lot of research we found that some active ingredients or some technology are particularly effective in improving the glucose control of consumers. So that's why we narrow down to this particular thing that we are commercializing. Yes. But before that, it's a lot of work that has been done to screen different extract and also different types of ingredients.
So this topic of the berries, right, the extract being used to solve this problem, right, is, I mean, both of you work together, or you all just choose one?
It initiates much earlier before we joined the research group.
Okay.
So it's our senior who studied this research, complete his PhD.
Yeah.
And then we have a master student carry on, actually 2 master students carry on. Then after that, when I did my research fellow research, then I carry on the commercial application stage.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of history.
It's a long history.
Actually, a long
Yes,
time of research,
yes,
right?
yes.
Okay, good. So now we say that we know that there's a research problems of being able to help the diabetic patients to have to eat and still control their conditions, right? So that's and the solution is the barrier strength. Okay, so let's cover the innovation part of it. Okay, then now I think we have to move on to the next step, which is the commercialization. Right. So firstly, what prompts you to want to commercialize this?
I think there's a lot of initiative behind this. Even the government, they declared war on diabetes in 2016, and we really see the figures going up. Yeah, and our research really showing that this is really a promising solution, and it works well without really need to reduce or replacing sugar, which is existing solutions that people are trying. So this will be a new way of solving these problems.
Yes, it's the right time and also the right technology that and also the right people, because we are experienced in like evaluating the functional foods. So that's why we like started this entrepreneur journey.
So it's very interesting, right? So especially for people, boys and girls, they look at, oh, we do a PhD, then we better become a professor. So have you ever a dream to become a professor, or, because now you're taking a route? Is this a route that an entrepreneur is something that you always want to do, or you do a PhD because you want to be a professor?
I think for us to be a professor, maybe a really, really high, and it's very competitive, to be honest. Like,
very competitive.
Yeah, I mean, 90% of the PhD will not become professor anyway. So, and for us, I think to be trained as a PhD is to have the ability to learn new things and learn systematically. So this really train us to be able to learn entrepreneurship with a similar mindset. That's something new that we can do and we can grow. So I think it's a new choice.
Like after you graduate from your PhD, you can either choose to continue with the more fundamental studies and to keep like funding those active ingredients that can help the society. But the other way is to commercialize the technology, the research outcomes by yourselves. So I think there's no better or it's just a different choice that we have made, like lead us to a different journey.
So studying a PhD is really to have a domain expertise, right? You acquire the knowledge over the years, and also be able to invent, I think, because you come out with things and to discover new things and also apply analysis, scientific principles, right? So study of PhD is not say, okay, you must be a professor, study PhD. A lot of people always think that way, okay? So, yep. And it's important that going on, right, when we want to become a knowledge-based society, right, in order to create knowledge-based means you create new knowledge, which means you need to be forefront. And I think that's where we can create much more highly value added for the economy and of course better jobs, right? And also create wealth for the society. All right, good. So now the transition from a researcher who have a problem. Yes, the problems you identify is big and is a lot of people needs it. And I think one of the issues that people look at entrepreneurship is that, is there money here? How do you start? You start with your passion, or you start with there's a money there?
I think at the beginning we do understand that to do a startup, there's very high chance of it didn't work out in the end. So for us, what really inspired us is that this learning process that will be value. Like we cannot really put a value on this experience, this journey together.
So it's a learning process and make us to be like more balanced, not just strong in doing research, but also strong in like giving a pitch to convince others and also to teach the like consumers and everything.
Yeah, so I think the important thing of when you're doing this company or startups, right, is really you must have a passion to solve certain problems. And I think a lot of people say, okay, you know, we want to make money. Yeah, of course we want to make money, but if that's a priority, then maybe making money is 5 years down the road. You don't know, right? So it must have a passion to last that long. And one of the most important things of entrepreneurship is actually solving the problem, right? If you have a problem and I solve the problem and you're willing to create value for you and you're willing to pay me, that's how actually you get your profit back, right? Rather than focus on profit, right? You should focus on problem solving. All right, so okay, let's move on. So from researcher to entrepreneur, what list 3 challenges that you really face every day? Because 8 years, 5 years in the lab, and suddenly now you're facing the world in the market. So what are the challenges that you face?
I think it's the like personality. You have to like social to communicate with others, to talk to others and actively. But when I was doing research, I tend not to like so actively talk to engage others and talk, like. But now I learned that I need to like have like conversations with investors and also potential customers and all these people, and even my team. Like later when we have employees, we also need to like constantly communicate with our employees to understand their needs. And yeah, that's also something to learn for me.
Okay, so one of the challenges, open up, communicate more, not in the lab environment, but to different kind of people, different kind of stakeholders, investor, customer, supplier, right? So you're going to handle so many people. So you become very, okay, maybe people-based, first, no, you know how to deal with people, right? Okay, other challenges?
I think doing business entrepreneurship is very different from doing research. For research, you have one question, you focus on it day after day, weeks after week, even years after year to solve that question. But doing a startup, you have at least a dozen of questions every day, and you have to solve all of them continuously. Some related to business, some related to product development, some related to customers, some related to even to finance, banks, lawyers, and all those are brand new to us. So we are really learning every day.
Doing research is you need to focus, but doing business is a multitasking. You need to handle all these different things.
As with the limited resources we have.
Okay, so limited resources. One of the Harvard Business School professor defined entrepreneurship as getting things done with not sufficient resources. That means you really think out of the box, you find new ways to achieve your goal. Okay, so all right, good. So multitasking, need to learn a lot of things, need to deal with people. Okay, so how do you're unique, right? You got 2 founders, right? So how do you work with each other? Do you quarrel?
Not really, because we have been knowing each other quite long, like more than 10 years. So like before we formed this company together, we already very good friends, and Gao Jin was my senior. So she also like helped me with my research. So I think we know each other quite well, so that we can avoid some of these unnecessary like you said quarrels, but we do like discuss like have very serious discussions on the business. So I think that's something we need to be professional, like to.
Yeah, so both of us have very similar in terms of experience, where we come from to do the undergrad, the post postgraduate studies, then come to do the startup together from day one. We are learning everything together, doing everything together, and struggling together. So I think this is a really, and we have nobody else, only two of us.
Yeah, yeah.
So we really need to make it work.
No, but it's okay. You see, it's very interesting because in to start a company, you cannot. It's very difficult to have one person plus one set of skill, right? You need to have complementary set of skills. That's why we always say is you need to have a business guy, you need to have a technology guy, right?
Yeah.
In your case, you have two technology guys.
Yeah.
So how do you solve the problem of the business? You learn it yourself, or you want to complement it with more people to join your team?
We learn, but during the process, like in the process, also a lot of people help us to get us along this journey. And but in the future, we do have the plan to have more experienced marketing people to join the team so that he can lead the our business development.
Okay, then we'll go back. We'll go to your this terminology where you say if you say, you tell people I'm a mix, you mix this with the cake and you have nice cake and you can eat without worry about being diabetic. Okay, we all can understand, right? It's like you buy the mix from the supermarket and just make the cake, right? But you have a terminology called your food platform. What is a food platform?
I think for us, we are not really product centered, like we want to sell one product. We are offering a platform which people can use our platform to reformulate the existing product into a healthier, brand new versions. At the same time, we're gonna load different technologies, different active ingredients into our platform, which will offer more functionalities, health benefits beyond low GI in the future. And all this is based on our expertise in food science.
Okay, so we are saying that when you say you have a food platform for other people to tap on, who is these other people? Bakers?
Like
bakeries
and like bakeries.
Bakeries, okay. All right, so how about people at home? Can they buy and use?
I think we will also have B2C for people to bake at their home, and for sure. But we call this a platform. It's more for its web applications and not just for bakery products, but for bakery and confectionery and beverage products, and not just low GI products. We would like to have products with more health functions in the future. So our expertise is not just with this magic ingredient, but it's because we have the knowledge and expertise to screen different active ingredients, also to apply into different food matrix and to make them work and to prove it works. So that's something we are offering, and we call that a platform.
Okay, so you have a platform, but you start with something and then you add on more extracts. Okay, very good, interesting. So maybe we'll go to questions from the audience. All right. So the question can come from any direction, right? So one question is, are there any significant differences using your baking mix as compared to conventional cake batter?
There will be no significant difference.
So the way to make it?
Yeah, it's the same. It's similar to what you purchase from supermarket as a patty cocker. You mix the dry, mix the wet, mix it and bake it. That will be
simple and ready to use, and also with minimum compromise in the taste and texture, and that's why our technology is so unique. It's because we the food is still tasty and people can enjoy it, even it's it's with this fortified and also these food functions within it, but it's still a tasty and the original taste that people always love.
Okay, let's go for another question. Is Aurora Food looking to utilize your technology to improve the lives of others beyond diabetes? What's the plan for the future?
So I think we do have a few active ingredients in the pipeline, our research groups. So what we are trying to do is not only help diabetes, but also health conscious consumers to remain healthy with our products. At the same time, I think other functionalities we can work on maybe to boost people's brain functionality in terms of
Cognitive health.
yes, cognitive health, people to I mean, this is a stressful society. Maybe we can do some functionality food that help people to remain calm and help them with sleep, to remain concentrated during work.
I
So
eat your cake and I sleep well.
that would be amazing.
So I think this is why there are a couple of ways to think, right? It's like diabetes, you cannot eat chocolates because of the sugar spike. So they hunger for it, and then okay, now I got this option. Obviously, people will buy, right? And eat, right? So what other disease where your your technology can help them? It's something that they can't do, but they want to. I think that makes a lot of there'll be a lot of customers wanting to buy, right?
I think not disease, but I think weight control or
Weight control.
yes,
Okay.
that's also something.
Eat a lot of cake and then still stay slim.
Yes, with so it will be more like the people will feel full for longer.
Yeah.
So to reduce their cravings for the next meal and.
Okay. So when you eat, it become filling, right?
Yes.
Okay, that's good weight control. So next question is, all right, this one deals with beside sugar spike, right? What other health benefits can you introduce into your products?
So actually, our product is not only targeted to diabetic or pre-diabetic patients. Actually, everyone can benefit from this product because if we eat food is high added sugar, such as like brownie or cheesecake, then we'll experience the sugar spike quite often, and this will, like in the long run, also like may increase our risk of getting diabetic. So like our product is for everyone to enjoy and also to manage their blood sugar control for their daily life, so that they will have like less to worry for their health in terms of the blood sugar. And also because the product is ingredient that is extracted from the plants and also cereals, it also has a rich antioxidant compound, and it's 100% natural.
Okay, let's explore a little bit of other things that may be important in the case of the business, right? And one of the important thing, especially when you are doing research and intense research to come out with a product, is intellectual property. So you discover something, extracts of berries. How do you protect it? Because it is easily copied. I mean, sometimes in foods ingredients, right? You buy a packet, you already list out what's inside. So it's quite easily understand what's inside, right? So how do you protect your intellectual property?
I think for our IP management, we have strategy of patent the technology itself, about how to use it and the way to modify, optimize it for different applications. At the same time, we guarded the exact formulations of our active ingredient mixture as the trade secret. And also, I think the hurdles will be how to apply it. It's not like you have the powder, you put in, it works. It doesn't work like that.
Yeah, and also we have to continuously to roll out new products so that we keep the entry barrier high for other competitors, so that even like they are able to mimic our product, but we will continuously having new products to be launched, and they will not have this speed because they are not experienced and they don't have the like expertise in like evaluating and also to develop functional foods so fast as us.
So your IP strategy is like, okay, you have flower patterns, you do have some trade secrets, and then you and also the process, right? And that's one part. And then when people catch up, you move on to another.
That's our plan, yeah.
Very tiring.
Yeah, because I think in food, it's really, for food industry, it's really difficult to like protect the IP. Yeah, but Coca-Cola is able to
Do it.
So we are trying to do it as well.
Well, I'm not sure whether the Coca-Cola formula is something that you can protect because its ingredients are always there in the Coke bottle, right? So I think we can discuss this a little bit, right? That whether it's a trade secret, right? The recipe is a trade secret, or whatever somebody always say, my grandfather trade secret, grandmother laksa trade secret. But seriously, in the modern world, you can take whatever powder, go into the lab, and you have done so many experiments, and we have so many sophisticated equipment to figure out what's really inside. And after that, we can do, maybe you say, okay, process is trade secret. I will run different process, right? The process can't be too sophisticated, right? You still can continue to run in lab. Multiple experiments, thousands of experiments, and you can probably find the process to do it, right? So it is something that you not just have to come out with technology, right? You also have to have the branding to go with it.
Yes.
People know that this is the authentic,
Yeah.
the real one, right?
Yeah.
So trade secrets beyond just pattern, sorry, IP beyond patterns, but also the trademark, right? The branding. Okay, great. Now this is something interesting to ladies and girls. What is some advice that you give to fellow women? I prefer the thing to fellow ladies, girls who are interested in pursuing a career in STEM. Study hard and get A star. Is it?
Actually, I didn't get a lot of A for my.
Oh, you didn't? Okay, fine. But you get a PhD, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I think it's actually I would not suggest you to push yourself so hard, because if you decide to pick this, then it will be a long journey for you, not just your undergrad, but maybe your PhD and even your whole life of your job and your career. So you need to keep your interest in this. But if you really push yourself so hard, then you will lose your passion in that, and also your interest and also your confidence. I think you need to leave it with that, and it's part of your life. You just try to do your best, but not to push yourself too much, so that you can enjoy this journey for your whole life. I think that's how I will do. Yeah.
Just enjoy your journey.
Yes.
That you like this area, and then you enjoy the journey. Okay, great.
I think for us, there's a very interesting phenomenon in the food science department. Majority students are girls. So we have very few boys in the cohort.
Oh, okay.
This is very special, I think. Yeah.
All right. Girls prefer food.
Food science, yeah,
Food
somehow,
science.
yeah.
Interesting.
So I think they all did a good jobs in learning chemistry, in learning physics, in learning food engineering, process controls, all those. So I don't think girls have any difference from guys. It's just if they find the passions they want to pursue, I think everyone can really do a good jobs in learning STEM subjects.
Okay. Right. So maybe we can move on to maybe another topic, right? That you probably spend a lot of times now working on it is, how do you convince people to invest in you?
But I think different investors also are looking for different characteristics or different things. Some investor, they are investing in people. So it's we try not to bluff so much, but we try to convince them and let them know what kind of people we are, and we will never give up this company, and we will try our best to commercialize and also to grow the company. So that's something they're looking for. But for some customers, they are more interested in the figure. So you let them know the market size and how your business can be scalable, and your business plan, how you're going to expand your business into other markets, overseas market, and also into different foods categories. Yeah.
Okay. So any advice, final advice for people who want to move into the food science industry? And now it's a very hot area actually, especially when Singapore talk about let's say we want, I wouldn't say self-sufficient, but 30 by 30,
yes.
It's a slogan, right? 30 by 30, and 30 million by 30 years old, is it?
30% food grown by Singapore.
Locally.
Yeah. by
Okay, I
2030.
thought
Yeah.
making 30 million by 30 years. Yeah, so okay, it's a very exciting area, right? Where it's something somehow for the last maybe 5-6 years suddenly it boom up, right? So any advice for people who want to move into these areas?
I think before, when we join Food Science, when we do our internships, we are looking at all these big corporates to do internship there. But I think nowadays there's a lot of opportunities, like to work in a startup on some very new ideas.
Yeah.
And I think this is something new for people, for students who are studying food science now, that they can have wider choice, not only at corporate,
Okay.
but join startup like us, grow with us, see something inspiring happening. Yeah.
Oh, that's very exciting, right? It used to be, okay, you go to food science, join Nestle, you know, that kind of thing. And now you say, okay, you have the chance to create new food, right? So new way of eating or whatever.
Yeah, they don't have to join our company. They can even have their own startup.
Yeah, that's very, very exciting.
But I have to see, like, if they just want to choose food science because they feel it's a fine subject, then actually it's not real. It's also quite hard quite tough, like quite stressful thing. Yeah.
Must be willing to take the stress. Actually, in every industry, you must also willing to take the stress. So, okay. All right. So I think that's all we have for tonight. Thank you for joining the show, and we look forward to having your cake. Not that diabetes. So thanks a lot.
Thank you, Prof. Neil. Thank you.
Prof. Neil.